We've done well over 100 episodes of this podcast, and for today's episode, we're going back to the start.
You know it and love it. The movie that starts with all that text in the sky, and it was all yellow. We're continuing our end of the month coverage of Star Wars movies reviewed in reverse HSWII order.
And this week is the one that started it all. Star Wars, aka Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
How Star Wars is it?
Well, hello there, Mike.
All right, Josiah, let's just start.
Let's start the show. I'm tired of not doing the show.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Join us, won't you?
Join us for another episode of How
Leave
Star
your
Wars is It.
fields to flower. Come and waste an hour or two.
Oh, very poetic. I don't know what that is
That's
from,
from
but it was
Pippin,
nice.
the opening
Right,
number
right.
of Pippin.
I need to
Join us. Leave
join.
your fields
Mike
to
loves Pippin, and it's like a
flower.
huge blind spot for me in musical
Uh-huh.
theater. I need to watch it. So, welcome to How Star Wars Is It. This is the only podcast, and it's where we rate and review things on a scale of 1 to 10, but not of how good or bad they are, but of how Star Wars they are.
Yes, and this week we have a very perfect thing to review on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing that, up until the holiday special in 1978, was the only thing that would have been in the chili of How Star Wars Is It. We're talking about Star Wars.
Surely, if you're listening to this, our second episode about Star Wars A New Hope, a revisit, our redux, then you know what the show is. If you're
Yes.
starting here with us revisiting it, that seems silly. Go
It does
back
seem
and
a
listen
little
to the other
crazy,
one.
although we might be getting some traction right now. I don't know, with possible new listeners, just since we recently had Star Wars Minute superstar Pete the Retailer on the show.
That's true. We might have
so if
some,
you are
some-
just staying current and not going back and listening to prior episodes, welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
And we're gonna talk about Star Wars the movie, but we probably won't linger on it too much because we both just watched it together, and we talk about Star Wars every week.
All the time. Yeah, we talk about all the time. Although it was fun because I did notice some new things this time because Mike and I were watching it sitting next to each other on my big computer monitor that is actually just a TV.
Yeah.
And I was 3 feet away from the screen, just how you're not supposed to watch movies because it's bad for your eyes.
Right.
But I did see a lot of things, specifically the stop motion jump cuts, not stop motion, the jump cuts of
Yeah.
when lightsabers turn on or doors go whoosh.
They're
and I
so
had
good.
never seen that before. Very fun. A fun Easter egg for me.
Yeah.
Not an Easter egg, I guess, just a little
That was
hidden
something
thing.
that I remember sort of clocking even as a little kid, but not being able to put my finger on what was weird.
Yes, I always remember it was jumpy, but I never knew that's what was happening.
Yeah,
You know?
every time they open a door, something is odd. You know how they
yep.
describe. Did you ever read the book The Giver?
Yes.
How they describe that the apple became
Yeah.
in color, but they can't show their cards that this entire book you've been reading so far is somehow in black and white. You
Right.
know, so they have to just describe it changed somehow. Its quality was
Yeah.
something different, something happier, or I don't know what it is that they say, but that's the same vocabulary I had at the time for what's happening when he turns on the lightsaber. Something's odd.
Something's weird. Yeah, I'd never noticed that it was literally stop the camera and be in the exact same place you were, and now it's different.
Yeah, right.
Very
and of
cool, though,
course, we watched the Disney Plus version this go
Yes, so
around.
we had McClunky.
Just because it's so much more convenient.
Yeah, if I had a VHS, a VCR, I almost said a VHS player, which is funny.
Right.
If I had a VCR, then we would have watched the VHS copy.
Sure, that you have.
But we-
Or
I don't
I
have
have
one.
that DVD bonus disc that has
Yes.
it as a special feature or whatever, and it looks like hell.
I'm sure the VHS is probably unwatchable.
Right.
To our modern eyes, it would
Yeah.
probably be like, why is it so staticky?
But of course, this one had excellent bonus features such as McClunky and
the
that
long
scene
drive
with Biggs
through-
at the Rebel Alliance.
The long drive through Mos Eisley.
Yes, sure.
So Mike, I don't want to show our hand too much, but I am gonna say it here because we did watch it specifically while filming. No, while recording a commentary track
That's
that
right.
we'll talk about at the end of the show. But so some of this stuff we literally talked about while we were watching
I know.
but I want to talk about it here too because I think it's worth mentioning.
Sure.
And we talked about the special edition add-ins for the other original trilogy ones that we've already
Yes, that's
done.
right.
And this, like, the only thing I can think of that's more like absolutely unnecessary is like the dumb stuff in Jabba's palace. But like the thing I said, I remember when we were watching when they're like driving through Mos Eisley, it takes forever.
It does.
And the thing I remember saying was that like Obi-Wan's like, old Ben Kenobi's like, the more wretched hive of scum and villainy you've never seen. And then we drive through and everybody's doing like cartoon
it's like
pratfalls.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to
Yeah,
fall in
totally.
this banana.
You know,
It's
the
like,
other thing I didn't even like really clock at the time, but I'm realizing now is also sort of odd about all of those shots, like establishing Mos Eisley, is something that's just so true about this movie from start to finish is it's all just like shot on a tripod that's standing still. Like sometimes
Yes.
the camera will pan and there might be a handful of dolly shots, but all the special effects shots are, you know, a bit of a different story. But seeing them like pull into town, it's what effectively would be now like a drone shot or a helicopter shot.
Yes.
But it's all, you know, it's all fake animation.
well, and it stands out because
Yeah, it stands out as something that like came from a video game that some fan edited into this movie.
yes, and you're so right because it does, because the rest of the movie is so static.
Yeah.
These like moving shots, they feel weird because they're filmed with a different filmmaking technique.
Yeah, totally.
It stands out in multiple ways because it's CGI, because of all the weird like little creatures they add, and like
Yeah.
you know, and some of the stuff is impressive effects and does look like decent. Like one of the other things we talked about is like just like the lighting on like the stupid Jabba scene they added is weird.
Yes.
Like he looks
looks
like he's
awful.
the wrong colors.
Yeah.
Like we know what color he is in Return of the Jedi,
And
and it looks like
there's
he is
also
in different
like
colors.
a number of scenes where like some big dark thing walks in front of the camera, and
Yes,
it's
why?
done to you know conceal something in like the edit or whatever, but it is jarring every time because
time.
it's something that like if that happened in the principal photography, someone would have gone, oh wait, hey, cut, let's run that one again, let's roll back
Don't
to
let
one.
the giant space cow walk in front of the camera. Who's the giant space cow's handler?
Can we get this brontosaurus out of here?
This thing is taking up a lot of space,
And
it
that
keeps knocking over the
brontosaurus,
camera.
that brontosaurus is actually like he's just part of the crew. He's like a boom
Yeah.
operator, and he's like, it's
You know who was
living.
actually yes, who was actually played the brontosaurus was Anthony Daniels.
Oh yes,
He normally plays small little guys, but they let him get in a big brontosaurus outfit.
yeah.
It was really fun for him. Mike did tell me some fun special facts. So like Anthony Daniels is like every single
Yeah, he's
like,
at least one other
humanoid-looking droid.
robot. Yeah.
He's every robot. He's every robot.
He's
Dumb.
Anthony.
Wow. Okay, hold on. We gotta write a parody real quick. We'll be back.
Okay, we're back.
'Cause
We
that's
wrote it and
good.
we sold it.
Yeah. To Anthony Daniels.
Yes,
He said,
and it's
do
rising
never
to
let
the-
this see the light of day.
Yeah,
I have
right.
to take this from you.
So let's see. What do we want to talk about with this movie? Like,
I don't know.
what did we
man.
give it the first time we did an episode
gave
on
it,
Star Wars?
I believe
feel like
we
gave
gave
it like an
it-
8.
Yeah, which seems crazy.
In what way? That's low?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what our justification was. Well, I just searched Star Wars in my notes, which was a mistake because all of my notes are for this show.
Yeah, no, I do vaguely remember that we gave it an 8 because I remember telling people about the show early on, and I would say, well, for example, we gave A New Hope an 8 and The Phantom Menace a 9, and people would go, oh, okay,
Right.
I think I understand.
Yeah, I think we did give it an 8. That's correct.
Man, we have to go back to listen to those episodes and also the ones we've just recorded because I can't like the whole reason we are revisiting these movies is to like make sure we gave them a fair shake the first time, and I'm certain that neither of us listened to our first one in the last week or so. But
I didn't.
I
know
also
for
don't
sure
remember what we gave like the last couple months episodes either.
I don't know.
We kept Return of the Jedi at a 10, and we kept Phantom Menace at a 9. And I think did we end up settling on was it Empire last time, and that it was like maybe an 8 and change?
I just let me pull up the right notes.
What a jackass! I don't even remember what I said.
Listen, I don't remember what we talked about yesterday.
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
Okay, so in our revisit, Empire got 8.75. Phantom got 9. Return of the Jedi still has a 10. So, New Hope is where we're at now. In New Hope, we originally gave an 8. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we'll see where it lands now. I mean, maybe we should just talk about that in general. Like, so if we have the scoring of Empire 8.75, Phantom Menace 9, Return of the Jedi 10, does A New Hope feel like it is lower than Empire? Because I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's probably more Star Wars than Empire because it's got the kind of campiness.
Yeah, and Empire's more of the departure from the formula. Yeah. That also sets the formula for later movies. But
but not all of them.
But not all of them,
like,
exactly.
I think we've said before, like, Return of the Jedi got a 10 because all of the good Star Wars things were there and all of the bad Star Wars things were there at, like, full throttle.
I think, like, New Hope might feel more Star Wars in that, I mean, whenever they, started the new trilogy, it was like, well, we'll just basically remix New Hope. And that'll be the sort of entryway into the new trilogy. And they didn't say, I mean, and you could argue that Last Jedi sort of is similar to Empire in that it's like a departure, but it's not similar in the structure or the plot. Whereas in Force Awakens, it is essentially just like, we're going to do kind of the same thing. It's just new characters and, some of the old ones you love. So, well, and we always say, like, does it have great music? Does it have sneaking around? Does it have the Joseph Campbell's hero's journey? Like, that's... It's like, yes.
We're pulling a lot of our rubric specifically from this movie.
Yes. And so I think maybe we did do it a little dirty early on when we gave it an 8. And it might be because we did it first, and so we didn't have... the other Star Wars movies to like base it off of.
But wait, are you saying our most recent episode that we did of Empire, we reassigned it an 8 3/4?
Correct.
Wow. Yeah, like, I mean, we're only 15 minutes in or however early we are, but like that's feeling wrong to me, and I'm trying to come up with like. Well, I mean, not necessarily that score. We gave that a score, and I don't care to relitigate it a third time. But I mean, like, trying to find a slot for Star Wars, I do feel like it would be above Empire. Not to completely spoil the ending here, but, like, the problem then would be slotting it between a 9 and an 8 3/4. We're going to have to get into the 8ths.
That's true. I mean, is it a... I mean, here's my question, right? And I mean, I know we normally save, like, the rating discussion for the end of the show, but, like, I feel like we have already talked about Star Wars so much.
Yeah, we talk about Star Wars a lot.
Especially this movie, because this is what we reference a lot. So, like, I feel okay, like, trying to litigate where it falls, because it's going to be high. It's obviously going to be in that 8, 9, 10 range. Is it a 9 like Phantom Menace is a 9, but just for different reasons?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was having that same thought, but I know that one of the other big reasons why we're like revisiting all these movies is to give them each their own unique concrete score. But that's maybe a silly thing to do. Like maybe the second place finisher is a tie between this and Phantom Menace.
Well.
I'm fine
Is A
with
New
that.
Hope maybe A New Hope's a little? Is A New Hope higher than a 9? Because
here's
we
the
could
thing
keep
with
the
that.
quarters.
Okay.
Okay.
Star
Tell me
Wars,
the
the
thing.
full Star Wars chili. For new listeners, if you took all things Star Wars, books, movies, TV shows, video games, etc., and you threw them all into a pot, you put the pot on the stove, and you made a Star Wars chili out of it all. You let all the juices meld and flow into one another, and that is a 10 out of 10. That's what we're comparing to here. And I would say that Star Wars chili tastes a lot more like big, expensive summer blockbusters with merchandising out the wazoo. And while Star Wars was where Lucas made the best deal in Hollywood of retaining merchandise and sequel rights,
Correct.
The toys. And there were certainly lots of toys in this movie too, but it was all this experimental thing. And Star Wars now, I would say, is majority it's almost like a business. It's like a big corporation.
It's the media empire of Star Wars.
And it certainly wasn't that yet.
I think that's fair. I think that you're right. I think that there is the purity of Star Wars in this A New Hope that becomes not to put it on a pedestal or anything, because it's obviously it's a very good movie, but it's not like a perfect movie necessarily. And
right.
But there is a purity of intention in it that is sort of lost almost immediately, especially once you get to Return of the Jedi. And you're right, that the prequels and everything else Star Wars ever sort of becomes this feeling of oh, well, yeah, they're telling fun stories, but it does. Yeah. It is more of it's part of an empire now as opposed to a scrappy young filmmaker.
Right.
That part of Star Wars is definitely less of the taste of the
past.
chili, for sure.
It's also so picture, if you will, listeners,
All
and
right.
Josiah, a typical Cartesian coordinate grid, aka an X and Y axis.
Okay, so I'm thinking about it.
In the summer of 1977, if this podcast were around, people would have said, "What's a podcast?"
Yeah, no, wait, hold on.
In the summer of 1977, if this podcast were around,
am I alive?
You are, yes.
Okay, great. Am I a baby or am I my age right now?
You're a baby.
Okay, I'm a baby. All right.
But I guess what I'm saying is if someone were to have asked the question back then, how Star Wars is this movie, it would get a 10.
Gaga.
So chart that on the sort of on the y-axis, the first dot is a 10 out of 10. And I would say over time, that starts to is it a logarithmic decay? I can't remember what that's called, but it would slope down over time. It would hit a 9 and then it would maybe hit an 8 and maybe a 7. I don't know how far down we're saying this goes, but I would say there is a Y value that is the asymptote. It will never go below, say, an 8.
Now,
because it invented Star Wars.
I am a baby, so I didn't understand anything you just said. And I can't put things on a graph. But no, I know what you're saying. There is a sliding scale.
It started at a 10, now we're here.
Yeah. It's a sliding scale of it was the 100%,
right.
But then as other stuff was added to it.
The portfolio got diversified.
Yeah, and it's a weighted value of that movie. The movies are all weighted in general for how we think about Star Wars.
Chili back then was maybe you might not even call it chili. It was just cooked ground beef.
Yeah.
And you were this tastes just like cooked ground beef.
with a tomato paste. It was a bad spaghetti sauce is what it was.
And then by the time the holiday special and Empire came around, there were spices and there were onions and there
Wow,
were,
what's funny is that it was I'll say a bland spaghetti sauce, and then whenever the holiday special happened, it became a bad spaghetti sauce, and then Empire happened, and it was wait, are we making chili?
Yeah, Empire was oh gosh, how can we? Okay, maybe put some garlic in there, maybe a little bit of water so it's not so pasty.
Maybe some beans.
It was starting to make it taste like something, like food.
Yeah, and not just a sauce that you would put on something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking, as we're talking about this? This might be the least accessible episode ever because it's and I don't mean this in a bad way.
No,
because I think that people who have listened to the show are going to
they're
enjoy
they're
it.
on board, yeah.
Because we are like so in the weeds of like
Of
the
our
minutia
show's mechanics.
of our show, of our
Yeah.
very
The logic
specific,
system on this fucking crazy podcast.
Our little Venn diagram of critical thinking and stupid shit is like happening so hard right now, where we're
Right.
like, well, the 0.25 difference between Empire Strikes Back and Phantom Menace, where does A New Hope fall?
Right.
Like it's such a like. We're so in the nitty gritty of like the smallest little things.
Yeah, right.
And I love that. And like I said at the beginning, if you're a new listener, you probably should be listening to something else first because
even just listen to our very first episode first.
yeah. I think it's probably still good.
I don't know where else to go kind of with that line of thinking. So a thought I'm having is like, do you have any favorite parts or favorite characters?
Man, I used to love. You have a sibling? Did you ever like when you were a kid? After you go see a movie, like it'd be like, what was your favorite part?
Yeah, totally.
Who's your favorite character? You know that stuff. I remember like doing that after every movie, because I loved talking about it. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah.
Which I mean, maybe that's some foreshadowing for like what we do on this show.
Yeah. It's like poetry.
And I remember
it
like.
rhymes.
It rhymes. I remember like my older brother, who's like a good 5 years older than me. Like he got to be sort of like a young surly teen, and I was like 8, and I'm like, "What's your favorite part?" And he's 13, and he's like, "I don't want to do this anymore." Like he would kind of like almost in a way that's like making fun, be like, I don't care. Okay.
Right.
Like he was a very typical like I'm too cool teenager, because he was like the oldest and the first one of the of us to like grow up.
Right.
And I remember being absolutely devastated and being like, shoot, I guess it's not cool anymore. I guess I can never ask this question again.
Right.
That's going to be really hard for me, because I do loved asking the question what your favorite part is and who your favorite characters are.
Because I want to say mine.
Because I want to say mine,
Yeah.
and so I want to hear yours so I can talk about it. No, I mean, favorite parts of this movie, I don't even know. I guess McClunky,
The Jabba scene.
the Jabba scene, the drive into Mos Eisley. No, I mean, like, I do think that the introduction to Han and Chewie, in general, the Mos Eisley Cantina, I think might be
the cantina
my favorite.
Is
like
just like as good as it gets, man.
Yeah, it's very
devil.
like that. Yes, the devil and the werewolf who wasn't there in this special edition. That scene feels very Star Wars to me, in that it is sort of our first like glimpse in these movies into like the weird like world of like, oh, there's not just like little short aliens that are wearing cloaks so you can't see them. There's like weird looking guys that don't look like people at all, like I think that's super fun.
I was doing what you did as a kid when I said like, do you have a favorite character or a favorite part, because I definitely was going to say the same thing. It's Greedo, like, for sure, just from a character design, like that dude is as good as it gets. I want them to do, and to my knowledge, they haven't yet, but the Black Series action figures, they're all 6-inch, but they also have a line of the 3 3/4-inch size, like the original Kenner ones, and I have some Stormtroopers from that series, and they just are truly remarkable, like little pieces of art sculpture. And I want them to do a 3 3/4 Black Series Greedo, because I have like an original Kenner Greedo. It probably was from the Empire Strikes Back line when they re-released a bunch, or because I got it for like $10 at a C2E2 booth. But
I was gonna say, I think I was there when you got that.
Yeah, right. But I would then want to get like one of the more modern like 90s Greedos, and then like eventually I want one of those just like hyper realistic ones. But like his outfit is great, his head is great, his language is great when he's like, oh, Coracrenco.
Solo. No, it's very good.
Like he's just so good, and like he's gone in like a flash, like there's so much in that cantina scene that's like, oh wow, like half of this does feel like they were on the at the soundstage and we're like, shit, we need more masks, and they just like got like masks that were laying around, but the other half feels so deliberate and like thoughtful.
Well, it's sort of like, it's like we talked about this before, but I think one of the reasons, and one of the reasons why this movie's good, and one of the reasons why any art can be good, is when you're working with constraints, it forces you to be creative.
Yes, right.
Or to use things you wouldn't have normally used. That gives it a sense of like weirdness or realism, or like like the werewolf is like funny, but also like it's like, oh, okay, there's all sorts of different kinds of creatures in this universe.
There's werewolves in this world. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, there's like wolf ale, and I think like the world building that scene alone does,
right,
where it lets you know this is a big universe and we are only going to focus on one family the entire time, but it is a big universe, a big galaxy. Sorry, they don't say universe.
Like there's entire species in there that we most certainly see in like Rebels or Clone Wars because like they, nerds who got to take up the Star Wars mantle get to keep bringing stuff back. Yeah, but there's definitely characters in there that it's like there could be an entire Skywalker saga, as it were, about, the young Rodian Greedo, like.
Well, and there's also, I mean, like that's what's fun too about like that scene is there's whole like aliens that you don't see that species again like, for the entire original trilogy, and probably for the prequels, and like like you said, maybe not until animation where you're like, oh, one of those things that we saw in
books or comics or whatever.
Yeah, like they bring everything back, but that is the world building feel of, like you said, like Greedo's there and he's gone, and it's like it is that thing of like, no, these are real things and real characters and real creatures, and we're not being precious with them. Yeah. And that we're like have to bring them back every 2 seconds because it's just part of the world. I do think this time I remember one of the things I said too is I was like I used to have like a shirt that said Han shot first. Like
I did too. Was it from Threadless?
It was from Threadless.
I had the same one.
It was like red and it was like a smoking gun.
Yes, I had the exact same shirt. That's so funny.
And I used to like care so much about that. And I think I'm just older now and I don't care about anything. Especially like, quibbly stuff about Star Wars. But like I think the thing I do care about is it's just silly. Like I don't care who shoots first, whatever. You do get to see Han be like a quick shot and a badass kind of no matter what. But the thing that I was like, it just is silly that Greedo misses and it's all just like, like it happens
looks
that fast.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks bad. That's the thing I care about. Less of like, oh, the character of Han would shoot for. It's more just like, well, it looks dumb.
It's like when it's like when you download a royalty-free song to use in a YouTube video, and you only want the drum fill at the intro, and you want it to loop, and then you want the last cymbal crash to like be a little bit stretched out, but it like so that it like decays for longer. But that when you do that, it turns into robot sound. It goes like
yeah. It's like dun, 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 dun.
Which is something that I did. He had like the 1 second of film to make all those changes to, so that's why it just looks so fucking nuts.
Like, dude, it's just goofy. I mean, and that's most of the changes in like we've talked about. The special edition changes are most of the time.
Why'd you do that?
Yes, I think that's the like. I remember. Like in our short-lived TikTok fame where we had one video that blew up a lot, and I like sort of made an offhand comment in the video about like the special edition nose where like Darth Vader's like no, while he throws the Emperor down, and I like made some offhanded comment about how like the special editions were bad or whatever, and then it is interesting because like I thought that everybody was on the same page that the special editions are in general don't add anything.
Yeah, right.
at least silly. At worst, take away from the like heft of the the weight of the movie.
Yeah.
But there were people like in the comments like being like, I mean, it's Lucas did them, so they're canon, right? Like that's what it is. It's canon. And I was like, I mean, okay, sure, but also the original one he also didn't have that, and like. Once again, I'm kind of over quibbling about that kind of stuff because like it doesn't really matter because it doesn't really change the story that much.
Right.
But it is, as we've talked about, most of the changes are just like, why would you add that? And it makes me wonder about. I mean, I guess we saw the prequels. We know what George Lucas will do if he has his druthers, which is like fill up every frame with all the fun
like
stuff
goop.
He thinks looks fun.
Yeah.
Which. He is, I don't know, it is one of those weird things where I think you said, or when was it? Yeah, it's one of he needed, Star Wars is a singular artistic vision, but it was also incredibly important to have all the other artists that were on the original trilogy to make sure things stayed on track,
Yeah. Yeah, the other thing I was gonna say too about like favorite parts and characters is, and this is certainly more as I get older, is all the Imperials. Like,
yeah, they're
like
very
not
good.
that they're good people, but like first of all, they all have like this job, which is like fun to watch because it would seem as though like nobody likes their coworkers.
No.
Like
Well, it's
nobody
kind of-
likes Darth Vader. Nobody even believes that he like what the Force is until he can
Yes.
Force choke them. And they're all in the like upper ranks of the military of the Empire that at this point is only 19 years old. So many of
And is
them, like Wolf Yularen, who is sitting quietly during that meeting, but like he was like fighting side by side with the Jedi Order. So like it is sort of bananas that there are people in there who are like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like it's the reverse. It's like the other side of Han being like, "Oh, the Force, Jedi, not real." But like they literally work for an emperor and an empire that is run by the Sith.
Right.
And they're like, "You're stupid ancient
Like they
religion."
may not know that, but like it was recent history that there were the Clone Wars. Like Luke, who doesn't know anything, knew what the Clone Wars were. He said it by name. So like presumably you would know that Jedi were part of that.
Yeah. It'd be like if your boss, I'm going to try to think of a metaphor. It'd be like if your boss at your job, who you didn't like, was, had, I don't know where I'm going with this, was in the PTA at the school that you went to when you were a kid and worked with your parents.
Right.
And your parents didn't like him. And then you got up and worked for him. And you were like, you were never on the PTA. Does that make sense?
Not quite.
I was trying to think of something that wasn't war related because I didn't want to get too dark and being like, it'd be like if your boss worked at Desert Storm and then you like were like the Marines weren't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I tried to do something lighter.
I have an idea that's cooking, but I have to Google something first.
Great.
Okay, here's so 19 years ago was 2002.
Great, love it.
It'd be like if someone were saying like, "Oh, remember Rob Schneider and the hot chick?"
Yes.
I'd be like, that never existed. Now, did it ever exist? That's a good question, but
well,
like,
Mike, and I don't know because that seems more aspirational, as if like we all should hope that doesn't exist, right? So maybe that is what the Imperial officers are doing. They're sort of like putting that in the world, and they're like, the Sith aren't real. I hope.
Right.
I remember that preview. Don't make me start thinking about Monkey Bone again.
No.
Don't make me start thinking about Monkey Bone again.
Should we go
is
to
there anything
the-
else we should? Yeah, let's go to the pit.
Yeah,
I think
let's just dive in.
we've exhausted this well.
Yeah.
Wee!
Hiya!
Hiya!
And we're back.
And we're snacks. I don't know why I said that.
So
That's not related to Star Wars at all.
for our game this week, which will also coincidentally be the first time we've ever played a game when talking about A New Hope.
Oh yeah,
Because our
I
very
forgot we
first
didn't do games
episode,
back
we
then.
didn't ever do a game. I thought it would be fun when I was home in Indianapolis recently. We played Heads Up on my mom's cell phone for like hours, and it's such a fun game. If you've never played it, it's a lot of fun.
Very good family game for
And
sure.
of course, they have a Star Wars deck. So I went ahead and I got a free version of the game. Like it's a copycat game, and I realized it had like a limited amount of plays. And while that would work perfectly fine for this episode of the podcast, I decided I wanted to also have Heads Up myself. So I like basically went all in and bought like a whole shitload of Heads Up decks. So we're going to play that game. What it is like, you hold your phone up to your head and it says a word or a phrase on it, and everyone else in the room has to give you clues to guess that thing. We're going to kind of flip it on its head a little bit, and I will just I'll be looking at my own phone and I'll give Josiah clues to guess what's on it. It's the Star Wars deck, of course. And then he has his phone too, and we can switch back and forth. We can do, a few rounds because they're all only about like a minute, I think.
Yes, correct.
So we'll see how many you get. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'm swiping up to play. Place on forehead, which of course I'm not going to do. 3, 2, 1. Okay, he's the guy who's like, it's a trap.
Admiral Akbar.
Correct. This is the movie we're talking about.
A New Hope.
This is what Obi-Wan's voice says to the main character in the attack run on the Death Star.
Use the Force, Luke.
Yes, correct. These are the guys, the white armor guys, but the ones that shoot fire.
Stormtroopers, flame troopers?
Yes, correct. This is the episode 5.
Empire Strikes Back.
Uh-huh. This is, in that movie, the, like, lizard camel that you sleep inside of when you're cold.
Tauntaun.
Carrie Fisher's character.
Princess Leia, or General Leia Organa.
This is, like, the whole government of the
Senate.
Time's
The Republic.
Oh, man. It was Galactic Empire. Let's see how many you got.
I got 7, I think.
7 is correct. You did get 7.
All right. I've got a free version, and it's not Star Wars related. So, Mike, would you like... These are some free decks that were gifted. I'm going to let you pick.
Okay.
And I feel a little talked down to by this, especially because this is like very Ellen branded. So would you like the free decks are Phenomenally Asian, Black Excellence, Ellen, or Mix It Up?
What is Mix It Up?
I don't know. It's just I guess it has everything. It does. It seems they're trying to do some nice things with inclusion, but it also Ellen.
Yeah, that all feels kind of weird. Okay, how about we do Mix It Up just to...
Great. Okay, so movies, TV shows, celebrities, places, characters, and more. It's just got everything in here, okay?
Got it. Great.
All right. You got 1 minute. Okay, this is the herpes of craft supplies.
Glitter.
This is the spicy Asian spice that you get on the side of like sushi and stuff.
Wasabi.
Yes. This is the show on NBC that Tina Fey ran.
30 Rock.
Yes. This is the app that everybody uses that's blue. It's a social media app.
Twitter, Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. This is a vegetable that's delicious if it's crispy grilled or baked. It's
asparagus?
No, it's similar to that. It does give you nasty burps and farts. The first word is like a place in Belgium.
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Oops. I messed up the app and it closed. So I don't know how many you got.
Okay, great.
I feel like you got like...
That's good.
6, but also...
Yeah, sure.
I did a bad job.
No, that's fine.
And I was pushing the wrong way. Maybe I don't know how to do this.
So when you play it with it on your forehead, if it's a correct answer, you like push the phone down like this. And if you want to pass, you like push the phone up.
Oh, I was doing it backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well,
that's cool. We'll do the Star Wars deck from my end again here. And
yeah,
then maybe afterwards, because I have 50 different decks, I can run down some of the categories and we can do like adults only, which is dirty sex, butthole stuff.
I love it.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is what Darth Vader says to the officer in the conference room.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah. This is Queen Amidala's planet.
Naboo.
Yas. The white armor guys again, but the ones that ride the speeder bikes and have sniper rifles.
Oh, scout.
Yes.
Scout troopers.
Yeah. This is what Darth Vader says to Luke, infamously.
I am your father?
Yeah. Another name for the Sand People.
Tusken Raiders.
Uh-huh. This is what Admiral Akbar yells.
It's a trap.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's like the lizard bounty hunter, the Trandoshan.
Oh, Bosk?
Uh-huh. This is just like what Luke or Wedge or Biggs or Porkins are.
Pilot?
Yeah, but their specific
pilot?
allegiance.
Resistance, rebellion fighter.
Yeah,
pilot.
rebel pilot was the wording. It just ended. 7 again.
Ugh. Looks like I'm pretty consistent.
Yeah.
All right, here, I'm going to give you another one real quick.
Okay.
We're going to do the Ellen deck, just because I think that's funny. Enjoy this free deck packed with everything you love about Ellen. So, not much.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to do this correctly this time. 2. I don't know what that is. Okay, he's a very charming, handsome celebrity man. He was in The Notebook and other movies. Yes. What about the sequel to the original animated movie that Ellen was in?
Finding Dory.
Yes. Famous pop singer. She's the Mother Monster.
Lady Gaga.
Yes. This was a show on the USA Network, and it had like a lot of pineapples in it.
Psych.
No. Yeah. Definitely not what they meant. Don't know what that is. Modern Family star, played one of the dads, the gay couple dads. Also a Broadway star when he was
Jesse Tyler
younger.
Ferguson.
Incredible that you pulled that. This is the place where people go to gamble.
Las Vegas?
It's like
A
it's
casino?
like the thing. Yes. And that's it. Wow. I don't know how some of those are Ellen related.
This is certainly like probably more fun to play than it is to listen to. I would think, maybe, I don't know, but when we're home and it's like my whole family, like when I was home last, it was my parents and me and Caitlin and Spencer and Allie, and we were doing the ones that it's like you have to do charades or whatever. One of them is like emotions, and you have to like, you can't speak or whatever, and so like some of them are just like. Like you just do like some kind of shruggy face, and the person just has to go, sad, despondent.
Mike, you did get 8 just now.
Woo!
Even though I had to skip a few. I had to skip move it. SU apostrophe. I don't know what that is.
No.
I accidentally skipped Dennis Quaid. And then there was some other like Ellen's Show Me show. I was like, I don't know what that is.
No,
So there's a couple things that were too Ellen specific.
No,
my family and I used to play a very similar game to this, Catchphrase, the one that you pass around.
Yes, which is basically what we're doing now.
Yes, essentially. And like we go hard on some catchphrases.
Yeah,
Classic family game. Also, I don't know if you and Allie experienced this, but my sister and I are a little closer in age than you and Allie, and like we have a very shared reference point when it comes to like our childhood and like everything, and so we are very good at games like this. Oh, that's
exactly the same with me and Allie.
Yeah.
Like precisely exactly the same.
Like, if me and Janae are on a team together, like, the other team's going to lose because she can say one word, and I'll be like, oh, Jennifer Lopez.
Dude,
and she's like,
we will, like, my parents will either, like, not let us be on the same team if we're playing games like that, or Allie and I will just impede ourselves by saying, like, okay, you can only do, like, a one-word clue, and we'll still be, you know, like, she would do some, like, jingle from a commercial that only ever played on Nickelodeon, you know, and I would be able to like, you know, like we were the exact same way.
It is, and I think it's like it's that thing where like we sometimes call it like that twin telepathy thing where it's like, yeah, you grew up together
completely. You
literally went to the same elementary school. You watched all the same shows. Like your reference point for so many things, is so close that like, yeah, you can just So that's super fun. I love that.
Yeah.
What category are we gonna do, Mike?
We can do that till the cows come home. And it's actually really fun for me to try to give bad clues.
Yes.
You know, we're gonna do Adult Supervision 2, even adultier. So if you're a little kid, you can't listen
Stop
to this.
listening. It's illegal.
Yeah. Es ilegal. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. This is another word for naked.
Nude?
Yeah.
Dirty.
Oh, I don't know what this is, but I know it's like a drug,
Sex.
and it's a 3-letter drug. And I want to say maybe it's an upper, but it's. I don't think it's like in fashion anymore. But it's like
PCP.
Yes. This is not adult at all. This is the kid from Even Stevens and the Transformers movies.
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
He's technically an adult.
This is when a woman might be like interested in being friends or romantic with another woman. She might say she has this on her.
Girl crush?
Correct. Oh, this is like porn, but if it's like a novel.
Erotica.
Yeah, that's close
erotic
enough
fiction.
to me. This is like the Scottish skirt that men wear.
Kilt.
Yeah.
That's not adult.
No, the word was that other one that I gave you the point for was erotic lit.
Okay.
I was like, what is the lit, like literature.
Lit.
Let's do that again since I have it here at the ready, and I'll just do another round for you.
Yeah, none of those were spicy
Shia
enough for me.
LaBeouf.
Yeah,
this is another word for your butt.
Ass.
No, like very PG.
Oh, hiney?
No, like
Behind.
not the top, but the
Bottom?
Yeah.
Butt.
the
Bottom.
Bottom, yeah. This is like also a drug is probably what they're trying to go for here, but it's when you feel like so elated or overjoyed, you are in
hog heaven. Seventh heaven. You are in flying high.
It's one word, and it's a state of being, but it's also like, happiness, like elation.
Joyful.
Or it could even be like a little bit sexual, perhaps, like.
Oh. I have no idea.
I'll pass.
Pass.
This is when you drink 60 beers in 60 minutes. Or not 60 beers, but like 60 sips of beer. The timer just ended.
Power hour.
Yeah. And the other word you were looking for was ecstasy.
Oh.
I'm just going to do it again.
Yeah, one more time. I did a bad job.
This really is adulty.
Yeah. Bottom?
Ariel is the little...
mermaid.
Yeah.
That's strange.
This is the type of bra that has, like, I can't say the word, but like the structure inside of
Underwire?
Yes.
Underwire.
Yep. This is what you do on Tinder if you like the person you
Swipe
see.
right.
Yeah. If you're some kind of a common whore, you might wear an A on your blouse.
Oh, adulterer?
No, the name of the piece.
Oh, the Scarlet Letter?
Yeah. This is when you burn the midnight oil to finish a project. You pull an
all-nighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids
this
can't
is
know that.
this is a casino in Vegas named after Et tu Brute.
Oh, Caesar. The Caesar.
No, you were
Caesar's
right the first
Palace.
time. Yeah, there you go. Oh, the time just ran up, but I'll try to give you this clue. This was an app that is like over. It is not popular anymore, but it was like you could like lip sync to like either famous songs
Dub
or like
Smash.
Yes. Man, that was like
Dub Smash.
That feels like it was an eternity ago that was like all the rage.
It is so funny that was a thing, and then now like that's essentially what TikTok is, but like with more. Or it's not, because you can do other stuff, but like that was what TikTok started out as.
And wasn't Dub Smash one of the ones that had like a big like info hack leak?
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
People who downloaded Dub Smash like lost their identities.
Yeah, in real life, like
Yeah,
they woke
right.
up one day and they were like, "Who am I? Someone who uploads dub smashes?" I love that none of those were actually very adult. Like,
no, I know that's.
I guess that's the Ellen version of adult.
Yeah. There was one that we played again. We've played this a lot when I go home, and it'll be like the other than Mother's Day weekend, we also did one the last time I was home, and it was just me, Allie, and Caitlin, and we were up like so much later than my parents, and we were just doing those adult ones, and like eventually you get all the different words for boobs.
Nice.
It's so fun and stupid.
I feel like
Listeners, let us know, was that fun or interesting?
was that fun for you? I wish that there were more free ones on here.
Yeah.
But we also have branded superstars.
It is
blockbuster
weird how
movies.
like insistent upon
the Ellen branding it is.
Yeah, like I get it that like you quote unquote created it or whatever, but like
But
the
also,
Cards
no, you
Against
didn't.
Humanity people aren't like we did a tie-in with like game makers don't have to have like a celebrity presence.
But also, it's interesting. It's weird too because like I get that she made she was the person who was like, we're gonna make an app out of this. But like the game of there is a word on my head and you have to tell me what make me guess what it is not a new game. Like she didn't invent that. She used it, which fine. But yeah, it is strange. It's like it's Ellen. It's Ellen.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. Should we
Yeah, I think we should maybe talk about Star Wars.
Let's try to figure out, like, really hammer out what the rating is going to be.
Yeah, this will be one where it's not like a reveal. It's like it's like
it's work.
Yeah, it's like talking about people who auditioned for a play, and you're one of the auditors, and you just have to like look at all the headshots and like do all the math.
Yes. Okay, so
I do think we were onto something that like this does feel like it is more Star Wars than Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, I agree. Which means, but okay, so we know that greater than Empire Strikes Back. Is it less than Phantom Menace?
I think it might be, because the big argument for Phantom Menace being as high as it is like, this was the most hyped shit in the fucking universe, and it was everything was at like 1,000%. Now, of course, part of the chili is, well, no, I would say even like Star Wars had hype. Like, maybe not right off the bat, like marketing wise, but like once it became like a hit, it was hyped. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So I do think Phantom Menace is still our closest to a 10 without being Return of the Jedi.
So do we just put maybe? I mean, we don't have to do. I mean, we could go into decimals here.
I mean, so do we here in this episode like retcon old scores and say Phantom Menace is like 9.25 and this is a 9, and then Empire is 8.75?
Yes, that's what we do. Absolutely, that's what we do.
I think so too, because I think
it's our show.
I think Phantom Menace does deserve like a bit more than like the whole number that is 9. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I think that's allowed. I think it's honestly encouraged because it feels right. Yeah, because like I think we're allowed to do that. I think we're allowed to change things retroactively to make things fit in to where it makes sense. You know?
Sure.
So Empire's 8.75, 8.75. New Hope is a solid 9.
Not down the middle, yeah.
Phantom Menace is 9 and 1/4. And Return of the Jedi is still a 10.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. So what's your unit of measure this time? I think mine's going to be sight gags on the drive through Mos Eisley.
Okay. And mine will be like sound effects.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'll give one for each. One is that's number 1. Number 2 is probably just like lightsaber sound effect. Number 3 is the sound of the kitchen on Tatooine that Aunt Beru is like chopping cabbage or whatever. They're like let's see. 4 is the like engine of the land speeder. And you know what's funny? In the movie Looper that Rian Johnson did before he did Star Wars, that same sound effect, I'm almost certain, I don't know, I didn't look this up, but I heard it when I watched that movie recently. There's like hover motorcycles in that movie because it's like in the not too distant future, and like they definitely use, I think it's either the land speeder sound effect or the sound effect of the Millennium Falcon failing to jump to hyperspace. They're like
Yeah.
Anyway, that was 4,
that.
and then 5 other sound effects. I'm trying to think of others.
Yeah. I know that's
no, that's not in this movie.
That's not in this movie. What about does R5D4 make any good ones?
He just sort of like explodes. Although like the Jawa language could be possibly treated as a sound effect. Oh, and then like a bunch of R2 sounds like wow. I love that, man.
What about lightsaber sound?
I think that was my second one.
Oh, I wasn't listening. What about
Darth Vader breathing?
I keep trying to say quotes, but those aren't really sound effects, you know?
Yeah, maybe pew.
What about pew pew? How many are you at now?
I think we've hit it now. Finally, I think we got there.
So it's a 9. I feel good about this. I feel good about the sort of first, because these are the highest ones.
Right.
I feel like it'll be a little more downhill. I mean, actually, I don't know, because we have Last Jedi and Attack of the Clones. I think they're all going to
start creeping up and like crowding the like 7 and 8 realm.
Yeah, because Last Jedi, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith are next, and all of those have an 8. Like Revenge of the Sith was a 7 and 8 and 8 because we had Delaney on.
Yeah, right.
So that's going to be interesting to try to figure that out. But I feel good about this like top 4. I think that it makes sense to me. Well then, let's wrap up, I guess. A nice tight episode.
Oh yeah.
So do you want us on there next? If you do, you can find us at How Star Wars Is It on Twitter and Instagram.
That's right.
You could email us. At agoodpodcast@gmail.com, and I wish you would.
Yeah, we love getting emails. Oh, and you hinted at this earlier that we would talk about it later in the episode. So Josiah and I just got together to record an episode and to record a audio commentary of this movie that we just talked about, the Disney Plus version, the McClunky version of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. We turned on the movie and we just recorded ourselves talking. It'll be a lot of what you just heard.
I specifically tried to not mention some of the things we talked about.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, I was very aware of that. So no, it's actually full of lots of goodies, but it's just the two of us, chatting and watching the movie together. And the plan is to release that on our Patreon. What?
What? Is this the first time we're mentioning this? I don't know.
As of recording, we have not launched yet, but we are cooking up a Patreon, so it's either out now, as of you hearing this, or more likely it will be soon. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, check it out. The commentary will, I think, be in the higher tier. So if that's out yet, check it out.
Yeah.
If it's not out yet, get excited for it.
Yeah, get pumped. We're going to be doing like a bonus episode every week. At least that's the plan for now. They'll be a little bit shorter than the regular episodes, but you'll get, a little more of hearing us blab.
A little more concentrated, goofy energy.
Yeah, we'll be a little probably more kind of crazy because we're not gonna like strap ourselves to any one particular content or any
it's a little bit
topic,
of that. It's a little bit of that sort of like when we're coming to it close to the end of the show and we start talking about something entirely unrelated.
Decide
it's
to
kind
just
of
do
like
a different
that,
show. Yeah,
but for a half hour, so we can hopefully keep the main show a little tighter.
Yeah, it'll be like our release valve. We'll still get all of our sillies and our tangents out.
What did we call it? I think
actually
we called
do
it
the premise of the show.
I think we called it the dumping ground.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but yeah, check that out. And if you have ideas or like, something you'd like to hear, email us, message us on Twitter, whatever. Like, we love to hear from you guys, and we want to do this Patreon so we can like, have some more fun and make some more cool stuff.
Yeah.
For the sweeties out there. So check it out.
And if memory serves, when we started setting it up, it would be patreon.com/howstarwarsisit, I think. I'll verify.
It would be crazy if that was taken by somebody else. But yeah, so Mike's looking at that. He's looking off into the distance.
Yeah. Yes, I just verified. When we do inevitably launch, it will be patreon.com/howstarwarsisit.
Yay! All right, cool. So I think that's about time for Tell Me Bye Bye.
Yeah.
Well, then, like we always say, we love you.
And may the fourth be with you. That's such a stupid thing to say every week.
Yeah, it keeps me humble.
Sure.